we're live. Welcome. Good afternoon. Let me just adjust my screen because it looks rather huge. Welcome. I'm Liz Jones, Mind Body House, and we're going to talk about the mindset of body image and, of course, self-confidence and what that actually means. So, guys, if you are tuning in and listening, lovely to have you. Drop your comments, send your thoughts, ask your questions. I'm only going to be live for 15 minutes, as always, talking about this. And like I said, we're focusing on you, your body, your health, your confidence, and basically getting up and showing up every single time. So, like I said, we're going to kick off and find out why body confidence is important and what's the relation to body image and all the connections on itself. Okay, so why is body image important? Well, basically, body image is kind of what we think of ourselves. So you could have the most amazing figure in the world, but you could still not like something about yourself. And that happens to all of us. At some point, there's something we don't like, whether it's a scar, some wobbly bits or something. There can be something that we don't like. And at some point, we always have that. Okay. So if you feel that way, don't worry, okay? But extreme cases of it leads to body dysmorphia, and that's when you can be seeing something that's not really there, okay? So, for example, you could be very slim and see yourself as fat. You could see yourself as super skinny, just be trying to eat, and this all creates a bad relationship with yourself, okay? And ultimately, what we're looking for great self-relationship, yeah? So, where we look at ourselves, where we see ourselves affects how we feel about ourselves. Okay, so our body image is knock on to our self-esteem. So even if there's one thing that you don't like about yourself, it can actually affect how you feel about your body as a whole. So although you might not like, say, I don't like my arms, example, it can make you feel really bad about your whole self. You can think, oh, my arms are really fat, so I'm really fat. And it can just knock down and have a snowball effect. Now, how does that show up in our lives? Well, that shows up quite obviously, and we accept it. And that's the problem. So it can be the way we dress. Like I said, it's so obvious. You probably, if you've ever experienced this, you will have probably done one of these things or felt this way at some point. Now, I say the way we dress. So, for example, if it is your arms, we'll stay on that example, you might suddenly choose to wear long sleeves all the time, something like this, so your arms are always covered because you don't like your arms, so you don't want to draw attention to them. Okay. If it's sort of like your hair, you might do it a certain way, all this sort of thing. So you do certain things to dress and adapt so you feel more comfortable. It may even be like wearing baggy clothes so you hide away. Okay. It can be something like you refuse to go out to certain places because it might mean you have to dress a certain way and you might not want to do that. But then it really gets into it with things like our relationships. So when we want to get intimate with our partner, if we don't like the way we look, and this is not just a ladies thing. So ladies, if you're sitting there thinking this is me, I'm afraid it's not. It's actually guys can feel this way as well. It's the kind of idea of not wanting to have sex with the lights on. Give you the sort of obvious one. So getting changed in front of your partner, okay? Getting undressed, having a shower, these sorts of things. You may spend very little time undressed or in very little clothes. And if you think this doesn't happen, it does. One of my clients, the most bubbly, friendly woman in the world, absolutely phenomenal woman. And we sat down and we just dug into things. It was like, okay, you want to lose weight, but come on, why? Why? Digging in and just digging into what was going on. And it turned out the fact that she kept the weight on, although she wanted to lose weight, because it was always the excuse because she didn't feel good about herself. So she could always blame it, okay? Yet she would say, not get changed in front of her partner, or she did. She would then say, put her underwear on, dressing gown went on really quickly. So she was like, I actually don't really spend time, say, undressed in front of anyone else. And I can't even look in a mirror. So that was the other thing. She couldn't even look at herself in the mirror in her underwear. Okay. So these things are real. And the problem is they will develop over time and we give them that level of acceptance. So we basically say, yeah, it's cool. You can be that way. And we accept the fact we're not going to feel good, or we accept that. But realistically, what are we accepting? We're accepting that we're not going to feel 100%. We're not accepting that we don't feel our best self. So that's not acceptable. in the end of the story, that is not acceptable. Okay. So you probably caught up on it by now, but that has a huge psychological play on us. Okay. So our mind is basically getting all these negative feeds. So if you caught any of my other sessions, we have the same thoughts one day to the next. Okay. Most of those are negative. So our dominant thought is always a negative thought pattern. Now, if you have one negative thought about something, that then will spiral and feed something else. Okay. So, for example, bad body image. If you are attending an interview and you don't get the job, you can go, well, it's because I'm the fat person. And you blame that. Okay. Or I'm too short for this. Or I clearly haven't got the right look. Like I said, it's not just a weight thing, guys. It could be anything. The one thing that you don't feel good about yourself about will be the one thing you blame. And then because something else is negative gone on, it gives it, you're fueling it. It's fueling one to the other. So guys, if you are listening, like I said, I'm going to be online only 15 minutes. So we've got just under 8 minutes left. Talking about body image, mindset, and why a good body image, get my words out, is actually important for our, obviously, overall confidence. So we've been hinting that there's a psychological effect and the fact it hints onto our self-esteem. Now, the psychological effect goes much deeper. So it's because I'm too old. Yeah, Paul, great comment. Because I'm too old. How many times have we come up against someone who's younger than us? Whether it is work, it's a relationship, it's a friendship. We think that we're not on the same level because of a factor in our lives, the one thing that we put ourselves down for. And that's because we're not feeling good about ourselves. We're looking for something to blame. Okay. So it's very easy to shift excuses in that when we're not in a confident and comfortable state. And that's the problem. That's why body image is very much a driving factor in our self-esteem. Now, I said about the psychological side, but what it also does is the way we eat. Okay. So if we're not feeling good about ourselves, particularly if we're feeling too fat, too thin, or something like this, even if it's a case of I've got wobbly bits, it's not good, it doesn't have to be size. It can be a certain shape. We can then build an unhealthy relationship with food because we can then try and monitor and control what we're eating based upon what food we're going to stick in our bodies. Okay. So if we're saying, okay, I'm starting to get water retention on my belly. Okay. So there's a lot of people find this because of insulin, and ladies, we do, time of the month. So you may find you're getting that. Okay. So you go, okay, because of everything you're reading out there, you're going, okay, that's obviously carbohydrates are doing this to me. I must cut out carbs. And then you suddenly go on some fad keto diet, which, as I've already shared the other week, is not sustainable and not healthy. And then you create this bad relationship like, oh, carbs are bad. Actually, carbs aren't bad. It's just the amount you're having and the types, really, the variation. So carbs aren't actually bad in themselves. You'll create them to be bad. And that then was fed by negative self-image. Something's not right. I'm looking for something to blame and to change. It's obviously that. And that's why we can go a little bit crooked if we just feed on all the marketing and generic adverts that we see. Okay. But like I said, guys, when we get to the end, I'm going to give you 5 things that can actually help you change your body image. So 5. 4 is enough. But the spiral of this from our eating relationship is eating disorders. Now, you probably have heard about, obviously, bulimia and anorexia. They're obviously the big ones. But these can be lifelong. They can reappear. They can be really traumatic. They may not even be an extreme, as in like somebody who's then so thin they're done. It can be they have it to such a level that then they control everything they eat, and then if they eat that little bit too much, it's done. So it could be at a much lesser extent and go on for long periods of time. So there is no sort of bracket, but it does create that bad relationship with food. And of course, if we've got a bad relationship with ourselves and a bad relationship with food, then our body is never going to be healthy. And of course, an unhealthy body is always lacking confidence. So even if you are a confident extrovert, there's my English, you are going to knock yourself down a peg. It is that simple. Okay. And nobody wants to be knocked down simply because of something they can control. Okay. Because guess what happens? If you're knocking yourself down for something you control, you're looking for blame. You're going to blame yourself. there's the negative spiral, getting worse. All right, guys. So we've got 5 minutes left. Yes, just 5. So, just making sure I covered everything. The last one, obviously, of what it gives us is that poor quality of life, because, as I said, it affects everything. So whether it is when you're getting intimate with your partner, whether it is the confidence to go out with friends, whether it is turning up to a job interview, or even the feedback you get from a job interview, or you go for a promotion, meeting with a colleague, it doesn't matter. When we're starting to feel bad, everything sort of pulls in, and you'll probably notice there'll be that sort of glass ceiling coming, and that's the sort of limiting factor, and that's what we want to break through. But like I said, there's 5 things that you can do to help improve and boost your body image. Okay, so number 1 is probably really obvious. It's one thing I rave about all the time, and that is being active. You cannot have a healthy body that you feel good about unless you are moving your body. That's simple. Bottom line is move your body. Okay, if you caught up on me on LinkedIn the other day, you will have seen I shared about weight training and the benefits of weight training for confidence. So you'll get more from weights in terms of your results and your confidence than you will do anything else. Okay, but train to work for you. Okay, so don't suddenly think, oh, I've got to go and do it this way. No. Make sure you do what works for you. So even if that's 1 training session or resistance session a week, go for it. Okay. Number 2 is surround yourself with positive people. Now, we all heard the same, you're the sum of the group of 5 people, you're the 6th. Okay, so if you've got 5 people around you who are all negative all the time, then it's going to be really, really hard to actually be positive. Yeah? Now, I'm not saying you've got to be upbeat, smiling, and this all the time. There's going to be times you sit there and just go, I just want to cry, I'm done. Okay? Accept that. Okay, that is okay. You don't have to be up here all the time. You can have low days. But when you have people who only see negatives and criticize situations, then you are spiraling into a negative environment. Okay, we all have a friend who goes through a tough time. And I'm not talking about if someone's having a tough time, but it's that consistency. Okay, tough times we help people through. Negative people, we might just keep an arm's length up. Okay, or try and help them to change. Okay, now, like I said, there's 3 more. Okay, so number 3, always talked about clothes. Wear stuff that makes you feel good. Okay, so if we're feeling a bit fat, a bit old, and a bit meh, wearing something that makes you feel and look good is important. So I'm not saying you suddenly go, okay, I feel good in really baggy t-shirts because it hides me. That's not making you feel good. That is just reinforcing the negative. That's making you feel safe. Okay, safe is here, feeling good is over here. Okay, so if you're feeling fat, overweight, skinny, stretch marks, wobbly bits, whatever, and you're just not feeling good, hiding away is not a solution. So if you need to take a friend shopping, you need to go through your wardrobe, have a look, but find clothes that only suit you, but feel comfortable in it. And it doesn't mean to suddenly go raving into something like super that not you, but find something that feels good. There is that balance in between the two. Okay. Now, number 4, we're going to change our thoughts. Okay. So our thought process, notice it's a negative thought here. Okay. So if we're going to keep focused on the negative, what are we doing? We're feeding more negative. And like I've already said, that most of our thoughts we have consistently every single day. And with that, they continue to be negative. So we're continually feeding negative with negative, we're going to get more negative. Okay, it's just going to go down and down and down. Now, that doesn't mean to say when you're spiraling down, you just jump and you're over here somewhere. It's a consistent process. So you will have days you sort of like, you're doing this on the fairway, you're like just jumping up and down. But as long as you're consistently going up and building that positivity, then you're doing good things. So focus on positive thoughts. And that means affirmations, guys. So if you find yourself saying something negative to yourself, catch it. So even if you feel old, just go, I'm experienced. No, I'm experienced. Okay? It might not be going, I'm amazing. So you might not be quite there. But experience is much better than saying you're old. Okay? So find something that fits and that helps you jump up. The last one, so we've got 20 seconds here, guys. The last one, which may be really obvious, is you can combine all of these by getting help. Okay, so that could be a friend, family member, or someone professional. So if you're struggling to find someone positive in your life, listen to someone positive online. Help help them boost your mood. Listen to their tips. If you need somebody around you, maybe join a meetup group that's got the same ideas. Or if you want to stay active, even a group class can help you combine the two. So guys, I'm cutting off there because I said I'll be on live for 15 minutes and I've just gone over by 10 seconds. That's not very good. But have a fantastic Thursday. I will be back on Tuesday, same time, with some more stuff to help you transform your well-being.